Saladin was born in Tikrit, Iraq, in 532 AH, 1138 CE, on the night his father Najm al-Din Ayyub left the Tikrit Citadel when he was its governor. Saladin's father, Najm al-Din, moved to Baalbek, where he became governor for 7 years, and moved to Damascus, and Saladin spent his childhood in Damascus, where he spent his youth at the court of King Nur al-Din Mahmoud bin Zengi, Emir of Damascus. The sources about the life of Salah al-Din during this period are few and scattered, but it is known that he adored Damascus very much, and received his sciences in it, and excelled in his studies, until some of his contemporaries said that he was a scientist in engineering, mathematics, arithmetic sciences, and Islamic law. Some sources state that Saladin was more passionate about religious sciences and Islamic jurisprudence than military science during his student days. In addition, Saladin was familiar with genealogy, biographies, Arab history, and poetry, so he memorized the Diwan of Enthusiasm for Abu Tamam by heart, also loved Arabian horses, and knew their purest blood. After Saladin succeeded in bringing together Egypt, Syria, the Hijaz, Tihama, and Iraq in a strong unified Islamic state surrounding the Kingdom of Jerusalem and the Crusader Emirates from the north, east, and south, and was assured of its unity and cohesion, he moved to achieve the second part of his political plan, which is to fight the Crusaders and expel them from the country. The opportunity came when Arnaut al-Shatiyun, the owner of Karak, was subjected to a convoy of abundant money, many men. So he took them from the last of them and looted their money, animals, and weapons. So he sent him Salah al-Din, blaming him, and ugly his act and treachery, and threatening him if he did not release prisoners and money, when he refused to send Saladin, who was then in Damascus, to all parties to summon the soldiers for the Arnat War. On 9th Jumada the T, 579 AH, corresponding to 29 in September 1183 AD, Saladin crossed the Jordan River to attack Baisan, which he found empty. The next day, his forces set fire to the town and marched west, intercepting Crusader reinforcements from the Karak and Shobak forts along the Nablus Road and capturing a number of them. Meanwhile, the main Crusader force, led by Guy of Lusnian, consort of Queen Sibylla of Jerusalem, sister of Beldwin, had moved from Sepphoris to Afula. Saladin and Guy de Lusignan after the Battle of Hattin. Saladin sent 500 fighters to skirmish with the Crusader forces and marched himself to Ain Jalut. When the Crusader forces, which were the largest force the kingdom had amassed from its own resources, but still smaller than those of the Muslims, advanced, the Ayyubids unexpectedly retreated to Ain Jalut. Although there were a few Ayyubid raids, including attacks on Zarin, Taibeh, and Mount Tabor, the Crusaders did not participate in full force in the Battle of Afula, in which Saladin led his men across the river, slowly withdrawing. Guy of Lusignan, King of Jerusalem, 1186–1192. His brief reign saw the Battle of Hattin and the Muslim reconquest of Jerusalem. Guy of Lusignan, King of Jerusalem, 1186–1192. His brief reign saw the Battle of Hattin and the Muslim reconquest of Jerusalem. The disease had intensified on the King of Jerusalem, Baldwin IV, in the year 1185 AD, and soon died in that year after naming his nephew Baldwin V as his successor, but the latter soon died within a year, so his mother Sibylla took the throne, who soon crowned her second husband Guy al-Lusignan as king, and the latter had planned him to be the regent after Baldwin IV, but his alliance with Arnat and their violation of the truce with Saladin, and their attack on convoys Muslims trade and convoys of pilgrims, which made Saladin besiege Karak. Baldwin IV made him revise his name as his successor after his death. When Guy took the throne of Jerusalem, splits appeared between the Crusaders and expanded, so a number of princes were not satisfied with his assumption, including Raymond III, priest-owner of Tripoli, who paid his anger to correspond with Saladin and befriended him and agreed with him not to fight him and not raise him a sword. He said to him, "I own Tiberias, descend on it and seize it, and I leave it to you. Weaken them on the Franks and weaken their hearts." The Battle of Hattin between the Crusaders and the Muslims. On Saturday, 25 Rabi II year, 583 AH, corresponding to July 5th, 1187 AD, the Crusaders descended the centuries of Hittin, and Saladin had preceded them there and stationed his army in the upper area of which, where the spring of water and the heavy military equipment of the Franks is the reason for their delay in arriving. And when it happened and they arrived at the site, they were perishing from thirst to the point that they drank wine instead of water. So they got drunk a lot and attacked the army of Saladin, killing a number of soldiers from the two groups. The Crusaders were enthusiastic at first to get water, so they defeated the Muslims at the beginning of the day, but the circles revolved at the end of the day. So the Ayyubids pounced on the Crusader army and tore its ranks, and the battle lasted many hours. And once the dust cleared until it became clear the extent of the disaster inflicted on the Crusaders, they lost the flower of their soldiers' youth, and many veteran knights and officers were killed, and King Guy al-Lusignan and his brother and Arnat, the owner of Karak, and other senior Crusaders were captured. As for Raymond III, the owner of Tripoli, he pretended to attack the Muslims, so he passed through their ranks and went and did not return, as if he had been defeated, and went to the city of Tyre and stayed there. After this victory, Saladin sat in his tent and ordered to bring King Guy, his brother, and Arnat. When they appeared before him, he gave the king a drink of jalab and ice, so he drank it and was in the most severe state of thirst, and then handed it to Arnat. Saladin said to the translator, "But I handed you, and I did not authorize you to water it. This has no covenant with me." And that because the prevailing custom was that if the prisoner drank or ate money from a security family, and Saladin had vowed that if he won Arnat, he killed him after he killed many Muslims. Thank you for watching, and if you like our video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.